Hey ladies, and welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to be working on the cabinet under the kitchen sink. So typically I have two ways of tackling decluttering. Either I make piles and group things together according to their category and then declutter, or I declutter first and then regroup and organize things after that. So make sure you try both methods first because it comes in handy in some situations to do the one versus the other. This time around, I just decided to group things. I felt like underneath the sink it was a hodgepodge mess. I kind of just made things fit there when we moved in 3 years ago. And so I went ahead and kind of grouped them. I did more stronger chemicals together, and then I did things that I use more often in this left bin, and then extra things that kind of spilled over in that second bin. Since most of them are cleaning supplies, I would say it's easier to group them based on the frequency that I use them instead of by different categories. I mean, they all clean things, so I couldn't really group them according to what they clean because that would be super small compartments. I also keep the trash bags under here, so I have one bag for recycling and one bag for trash. I like having two separate ones, that way it's easier to tell which one goes to the trash and which one goes to the recycling, since the girls often take them out. If you notice, I apparently also have an overabundance of Febreze, which I don't use often. Now that I know that I have a bunch, it'll definitely make me use it so I could finish it, because I do kind of feel bad getting rid of it because we used to use it all the time. So I only bought them when there was a huge sale for them. So as you guys know, I am really big into using boxes to store things, and I'd like to add the boxes are super functional, especially when you don't want to spend money on containers. But when it comes to these boxes in here, I just feel like every single time I'd open it, I kept telling myself that I would cover them with contact paper. So finally, when I tackled this and wanted to declutter, I decided this is the time to actually put the contact paper on these boxes just to make them look more pretty for a fraction of the cost. Personally, I think it's worth the few extra minutes that it took me to actually make it look nicer under here. I used to use a bag to store garbage bags, but I felt like I had to replace it so often it was a paper bag. So once I switched to this cardboard method, I feel like it's lasted a lot longer. So I also wanted to cover this one just again to make it look nicer. And it's a great solution for storing your garbage bags if you don't want to pay to buy one of those specific ones made to hold garbage bags. I also decided to cover the wet wipes just because I had a strip of contact paper that I didn't want to throw out, and I ended up covering one more box. It just made it look more in unison. So the goal was to come back and continue decluttering, but our little one woke up, so I wasn't able to come back, and in the meantime we actually ended up having some water damage underneath the sink and needed to replace the faucet. So I was able to empty out these two containers, which actually created a lot more space underneath the sink. I regrouped all my Febreze inside of a container instead of just sitting in the back directly on the cabinet floor, which reminds me to mention, make sure your things are in containers or boxes in case you do have a leakage like we did. It'll protect the actual cabinet like it did for us. I also installed this one-handed paper towel holder underneath the sink so that we wouldn't have to have the paper towel sitting on the counter anymore. These are just a handful of the things that I decided to get rid of that I haven't used and could totally pass along. And I finally have empty areas in these three sections. So here's a dive into the details. I have my tablets here, and then my dishwasher stuff right behind it. I also have extra cleaning things here, like things I don't use often, like glass cleaner or this amazing spray, or even like the bug spray that I use around the house, and the cleaner for stainless steel, degreaser, just basically extra things back here. So these are like the things that I don't use as often. Then I also have the things up here where I keep sponges and some gloves, my brush, and then the things for inside the sink, like the cap for it. So decluttering has really freed up a lot of space in the back. Like the only thing I store back there now is this container and two empty bottles, and then in addition I have all my Febreze back there, but otherwise the whole thing is empty. Like I was sticking things in between the pipes and it just wasn't working well, and now I just have so much more room and even space here, so it just worked out really, really nice. I also want to condense down to just 3 bottles. Notice I'm almost empty, so I'll just have to go ahead and go from 5 bottles to 3 bottles, so these will be gone too. And then on this side, I have my paper towel. Like I told you, it's one-handed, so I love that about it. And I'm gonna have to put a hook on here to be able to assemble my dustpan here. Here are all the extra things that I ended up getting rid of this week just by reorganizing my pantry, since we did do the floors, and kind of like little knickknacks that I found around the house that I either need to throw out or give away. I did end up getting rid of that lock. Notice it's in the donation pile, and then just a few other things, even like this board that's just decor. I don't really use it, so it's just time to get rid of it. So here are the other things that I ended up finding around the house that we actually don't need or don't use. I either ended up selling them, donating them, or throwing them in the garbage. So I had 2 of these. This one is the 4-cup one, and I had a 2-cup one, but it actually broke, and it looks like this one's breaking too. It looks like it's cracking. So I'm gonna go ahead and recycle it in case it actually breaks again like the other one and causes food to go everywhere. Here are still some more things. It seems like this last week I was able to get rid of a lot of just random things from around the house, while other weeks I was focused more on one area at a time and decluttering each section. But I thought this was a lot more convenient because I was able to get rid of things without dedicating significant amount of time to one section. And if you've watched this whole journey, you know that I really struggled to figure out what to do with all the makeup that I had in this container. Well, guess what? I actually decided to get rid of all of it. So here's everything that was in here and everything that I ended up throwing out. This is years and years and years of just accumulating all this, and I am so happy that it's all gone. So here's my totals for the week. Do you guys think I'll actually reach the goal I have to get rid of 2021 items? Let me know what you think, and don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and let me know how your process is coming along. See you guys next time.